Hey, so I wanted to give my thoughts so far on a bro split. I've been running it for the first time for about 3 months, which I'm not claiming to be an expert on it by any means, but I wanted to give my thoughts. Um, Especially, it's weird that this is the first time I've run a bro split, I think, because I've been training for about 3 or 4 years. Although there were some periods in there where I wasn't able to train. I think the longest period was about 6 months. Anyway, first I'd like to say why I decided to run a bro split. And in another video, I talked about how, well, it's the most popular split. Um, and yeah, I've never run the most popular split, so I wanted to see what it was about. I'd also heard that it was easier on the joints. But another reason that I wanted to run it was actually because of the science-based crowd. And what I mean is they always knock bro splits. They always talk about how either they don't work or they don't work very well or twice a week frequency is better. And I'm confused about this because in studies where they compared different training splits with volume equated on a weekly basis, with weekly volume equated, bro splits produced similar muscle gain. But then the science-based crowd always says, oh, but twice a week frequency is better. Okay, but why? If a bro split produced similar muscle gain, why is twice a week frequency better? I haven't really heard any good explanation for this. I've heard people say like, oh, well, muscle protein synthesis only spikes for about 24 hours after training, so you need to spike it more often in the week. And it's like, okay, but the muscle gain was similar. Like, I don't care what muscle protein synthesis is doing if the thing I'm after was similar. So what's the issue with bro splits? I've also heard them say it only works if you're on gear, and I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all, because a lot of top natural bodybuilders run bro splits, and countless naturals have been running bro splits for decades. If it only worked if you were on gear, then only people on gear would run bro splits, and that's just not the case. So after 3 months, what I found was that, first of all, it is so much fun. It is a lot of fun to just have a muscle group that you just absolutely obliterate in one day. It's a lot of fun. Like you train chest and you just wreck your chest. That is a lot of fun. I also did find that it is much easier on the joints, although one of the things that I think I found in running a bro split was that in my case, I think one of my problems with my elbow joints was actually overhead work. I thought that it was the split that I was running before, which was an Arnold split, but when I switched to a bro split, yeah, my elbows felt better, but I noticed that they started to flare up whenever I would do any kind of overhead work, like overhead extensions or skull crushers would really make my elbow joints flare up and they'd start hurting for a few hours. I'm really happy that I figured that out because I've switched up my tricep exercises, and yeah, my joints are feeling way better. And in case anybody's wondering, does it work? Have I been making gains? Yeah, I've been making gains. Pretty similar to the gains that I was making before, because my volume has been pretty similar. Depending on the muscle group, anywhere from 12 to 18 weekly sets, which for some people that sounds like a lot, but I really like high volume, so it is what it is. Do what you like. Beautiful. Becca, here, you want to come here? Come here. Just for fun.
Exercising.
My daughter has decided to wear my barbell collars. And I don't know, they look pretty good on her. What do you guys think? So for anyone who's wondering or worrying about whether you can make gains on a bro split, Yeah, you absolutely can, which shouldn't really be a surprise because, again, that study showed that when weekly volume is equated, gains are similar. And if you don't put that much stock in the studies, again, it's the most popular split. Like, you're going to make gains. It's fine. It wasn't all good things though. Like, I'm not saying it's the perfect split. Everybody should run it. There were a couple of things that I didn't really like about it too much. One of them was that waiting a week before you train another muscle group. Uh, at first I was fine with this, but then after a couple of weeks, I would train one muscle group. Like I would train my chest or my back, and then I'd just be itching to train it again because I've always done twice a week frequency. Another issue that I found was that wrecking a muscle in all in one day, it was a lot of fun at first, and then at this point, about 3 months in, it's kind of starting to feel a little bit like a chore, which I don't really like. I don't like my training to feel like it's a chore. I like it to be fun. Honestly, I think that fun is one of the most overlooked factors for muscle growth. Like the top three, in my opinion, are consistency, progressive overload, and fun. And fun, I think, might be the most important one because if you're not having fun, you're not going to be consistent, or at least you're not going to want to be consistent. And if you're having fun, then it's fun to progressively overload. So I think that's the number one factor to consider when choosing a split or when choosing exercises. So, will I continue running a bro split? I don't know. Hi. I don't know if I will, to be honest. I'm glad I tried it. I'm very happy that I tried it. But like I said, I do kind of start feeling that itch to train, more than once a week. And it is starting to feel like a chore doing all of my weekly volume on one muscle group in a single day, which, again, doesn't make bro splits bad. I just think maybe it's not the best choice for me. So I might stick it out for a little bit longer, and then I don't know what I'm going to do next. I might go do a torso and limbs split because it's been a while since I've run one of those. I think I've mentioned before, my favorite split is honestly the Arnold split. I might make a video explaining why, but I don't think I'm quite ready to go back to an Arnold split just yet. I think I might want to lower my volume a little for a while, and I think a torso and limb split would be a pretty good way to do that. I don't know when I'll transition over to that, but that's probably where I'm headed. Anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. So if you're still watching, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And let me know what you think of bro splits in the comments, or let me know what your favorite split is. And I will see you guys next time.